Welcome to Promo Insiders, the ASI Media podcast that covers the issues that matter most to the promotional products industry. I'm Teresa Hegel, Executive Editor for Digital Content at ASI Media. Last year, around this time, we launched Promo for the Planet, an online hub for sustainability news and education. And one of the very first things that we covered was PCNA's launch of ProudPath. So now that it's 1 year later, I thought it'd be really cool to kind of come full circle, come back to PCNA, and see kind of how that program has worked over the year and what comes next for ProudPath. So I'm really excited today to be joined by Holly Brown, Chief Revenue Officer of PCNA, and AJ Dickson, a Product Development Director at PCNA. So thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
So before we get started, I do just want to remind everyone this is a live stream today. So if you guys have comments or questions as you are watching this, please feel free to type it into the chat and we will get to all of your questions as we have time. But let's dive right in. So let's just start out with a brief refresher on what ProudPath is and how you guys have categorized your sustainable and socially responsible product offerings.
Yeah. So Teresa, I'll take that one. I mean, ProudPath really is the way to deliver for your customers' environmental and social responsibility objectives. It represents PCNA's commitment to the planet, to the people, and to all of you. And it really just goes into everything that we do, from the way that we look at our eco offerings, the way we ship products, and it takes all of us to make a difference. And this journey is really just getting started.
Okay, great. So, in the last year, you guys have launched this, and it's I think it seems to have grown, and you've added more, eco-friendly companies and different things that you're offering for distributors. But like, how has this been received by distributors so far? I know I've done a couple of different case studies with distributors that were sustainability focused, and they always seem to mention, and we were, had our partner PCNA to help us, put this together. So I've definitely kind of heard buzz about it just from the reporting that I've done. But how, why does this matter to the industry? How are distributors benefiting, and how is this differentiated from what other people are doing?
Yeah, appreciate that question. There was a lot to that. So let me kind of pick that apart. I think, kind of the first part of that is that, there's nearly $20 billion of corporate responsibility investment and initiatives, based on Fortune 500 companies that we look at. We continue to hear that eco products and all about eco and sustainability from our customers in terms of their RFPs and their requests. And so what ProudPath really does to supplement this is that it elevates sustainability initiatives above, with different product offerings, brand partners, and their give back programs as well. And so we're making, a huge difference with these partners, which I'll share in just a minute. And we've really just started this transformational change, but it's a huge focus through all industries that we serve, whether it's retail or manufacturing. I would say the other thing too is that when somebody comes to us and they want to partner together, we really identify the end user, dive deeper into those, corporate strategies for sustainability. And our job then is to, reference, which of the different pillars and strategies, which are on one of the slides that I'll share here in just a moment, really align with their needs. And so you mentioned a case study. We recently had a client who wanted to focus on sustainability, but they weren't able to find the right fit in the technology category. We had actually served up some bamboo products, some recycled plastic, chargers, all of which donate 1% for the planet, but they really needed something to sell the sustainability and the give back. And so that is where one of our new brand partners, Nimble, really came into the picture. Nimble actually encompasses everything around ProudPath. Not only are their products made from recycled materials, but the packaging is also recycled as well. They have a program which actually allows you to take your old junk drawer full of your old Blackberries and Razor phones, chargers, and everything, and send it back to the company. And they work with a third party called Homeboy, which actually breaks down those recycled products, sends them back to Nimble to use in their products. And then Nimble also donates 1% for the planet. So it's actually like getting 2% for the planet.
Nice. It's like a double dip.
It is.
And so Nimble it's electronic products or tech products that they're making?
They do, yeah, technology products. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What I think is interesting is because you guys are partnering with the distributors, a distributor doesn't have to know everything about sustainability, right? Like you kind of are helping to guide them to what they're, what is going to best serve their end user.
Yeah, and I'd say I can jump in here real quick. I think that's a big part of what ProudPath is really all about, is that while we launched ProudPath last year, all this work has been in the making for years, right? So being on the product development side, this sourcing journey started several years ago, is making sure that prior to making any claims, prior to the relaunch of EcoSmart back in 2019, we wanted to make sure that we had the sourcing nailed down. We wanted to make sure that we had the compliance nailed down. We wanted to make sure that we had the factory certifications in place so that when we launch a recycled product or a product made of recycled material, we want to make sure that the material is made of, that the material is certified, that the factory is certified. Becoming FSC certified in our own facilities was, again, years in the making. So we look at the distributors, every distributor, every end user is kind of somewhere different on the spectrum of their sustainability journey. And the requirements vary wildly depending on who the end user is, where they may be in the country. And at the end of the day, you want to have a reliable partner that you can come to, that if a end user has that requirement, that you're able to back up that claim, to make sure that whatever you're offering them, that you're going to be able to back up and eliminate greenwashing from this industry and make sure that you have a reliable partner to source product from.
Right. So that you guys are transparent about, the certifications and things like that, so people can ask for that and understand what they're offering to their clients.
Yep, absolutely.
So we've mentioned 1% for the planet a couple of times already, but let's kind of dive into that a little bit more. So you guys are 1% for the planet members, and I know you have brands that are also 1% for the planet. So what impact have you guys made so far with 1% for the planet, and where can people find additional information on this?
Yeah. AJ, let me take that one. I think, 1% for the planet has had a huge impact. And so we're really proud that together we've kind of donated over $1 million and have expanded our partnerships. And so we have new partnerships as part of that, which include Well Aware, Veritree, Surfrider, and the Giving Grove. And, kind of choosing partners that we can verify where our donations are going and seeing the positive impact is really important to us and what we're trying to achieve. If I could share just a couple of stats with you, I think this will kind of bring it home. Through 1% for the planet, we've actually upcycled 20 million plastic bottles. So what's exciting about this is that, we're melting down the plastic and turning it into new products of increased value, like bags, journals, and umbrellas. There's been over 1.5 million pounds of recycled cotton, where we're regrounding the fibers to use them in new products. Over 6 million trees planted through partnerships with 10 Tree, plus the 1% for the planet there. And then we're really proud to have over 33 retail brand partners that fall under the ProudPath requirements, and over 275 products with thousands of SKUs to choose from in the portfolio.
That's awesome. And I was just excuse me, I was just remembering, I had just written something about 1% for the planet. Last year, they had $66 million, I think, overall in giving through their program, which was a record year for them. So some of that was thanks to you guys and your partners. But I think it's great because I see a lot more people, suppliers and distributors in the industry, partnering with 1% for the planet and trying to make that an even bigger number, which is awesome. So are there any new products and or brands you could tell us about and why you guys chose them?
Yeah, sure. And actually, if you go to, I think it's the next slide or 2 slides up, kind of highlight a couple of those brand partners. But really the big focus on who we partner with, you've probably seen a transformation of our brand portfolio over the last few years. When we made this commitment, like I said, going back years ago, we recognized that the industry was changing, that our customer base was changing, that the workforce was changing. We wanted to make sure that we had brands that align not only with our values, but ultimately the values of those entering the workforce, the values of those that are making up that largest portion of the workforce. So we really wanted to make sure that we reached out and really took a hard look at our brand portfolio, and not only had the brands that shared our values and wanted to go on this journey with us, but also the brands that ultimately are trending, right? Those are the brands that the end users want. The end users have been trying to source themselves with, varying degrees of success, as we always see. It can be difficult at times to source that product from brand partners. So we wanted to make sure that we chose the right brand partners. So I think it may be the next slide there, where brands like Holly had mentioned, Nimble, which again is the first sustainable tech brand in the industry. So actually making the casings out of recycled plastic, so eliminating your virgin plastic from the supply chain, making sure that the packaging as well is made of FSC certified paper. As Holly mentioned, they're recycling kind of the old tech product and actually taking that back and recycling that. Brands like TerraThread, which is one of the new ones that we just launched back in March, which I love. I'm on the bag side of the business, so of course I'm going to point that one out. But talk about checking all the boxes, and really a company that was built recognizing a need, recognizing how the workforce was changing, how end users were changing, and they actually are very vertically integrated. So they're a certified B Corp. They're climate neutral. The cotton is organic cotton that's got certified, as well as 10 meals are donating to Feeding America for every bag purchase. So when you look at that and you're talking about an end user that has their own objectives, their own environmental objectives or social objectives, that you can partner with a brand like that really shares all of that, that's doing so much good. Those are the types of brands that we want to partner with. So again, there's ones that have a little bit more purpose beyond product, that are really trying to make a difference.
Yeah, TerraThread is great. Not to interrupt you, but TerraThread is great. I've actually done a webinar with them, I think last year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I know they have like the regenerative cotton, and they really walk the walk, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great, father-daughter story too, is that she recognized that there's a better way to do this. And those are the brands that we want. I think 10 Tree is a great example of that as well, is recognizing that 10 Tree was going to be, an important brand, a brand that was going to be really growing. And we want to get behind those brands and help support their growth, because that's one thing that the power of PCNA can do, is the power of this industry can do, is actually really support those brands to help them grow and ultimately make an even bigger difference.
Awesome. What about things like alternative materials or B Corp partnerships, things like that?
Yeah, and then our own product, brands are certainly an important part of our portfolio, but it's not everything. Is really looking at every part of our assortment. So every category, every price point, so from the value segment, that products that are great for convention giveaways, when you're looking for a lot of products that may be at a lower budget, is making sure that we have options available there too. So Ollie mentioned the recycled cotton, is that you can get a great tote bag made of recycled cotton at the same price at a great quality level, and have that a lot more accessible. Things like notebooks, is making sure, transitioning the entire line to be FSC certified paper. So again, coming from an FSC certified facility. And then looking at, getting rid of, a lot of the traditional vinyls that ultimately are bad for the environment, and switching all of those to bio-based plastics. So things like mushroom leathers and cactus leathers. And we have an awesome one that's coming out later this summer that's actually made of seed paper. So, thinking through that entire value chain or the entire life cycle of that product, is actually looking at what happens to that product at the end of its life cycle. So, new materials like that are ultimately better in that aspect, because they will biodegrade easily. Something like a seed journal will actually plant flowers, once it ultimately finds its way, its end of its usable life cycle, is making sure that we're looking at that entire product life cycle and making sure that we're utilizing materials that are better along every part of that value chain.
Yeah, it's very complicated. I know there's like some things that sound like it's a great idea, that maybe you look into it more and it's not quite as good, but you really have to look at the whole like circular, life cycle of it and what's going to happen. But I think for distributors that are just starting out, it's got to feel good to be like, okay, you guys have been doing this for years. You sort of know what's what, and can definitely help with sourcing for them. So as far as trends with sustainability, I mean, I don't think we can really call sustainability a trend anymore, right? It's a movement. It's kind of here to stay. But within this movement, there's probably some trends. So what do you expect like the promo industry to kind of embrace this year and beyond when it comes to sustainability?
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in there too real quick, is that, I think the alternative materials are a big one. I think the idea of, and you mentioned like the materials that in the past, is making sure that you have that certification behind it, right? It's not just good enough to have bamboo. You want to make sure that is certified bamboo, that it's actually coming from, regenerative forests that are going to be better for the environment. But I think those are essentially become table stakes, right? So I think that the expectation is that you're going to have the certification, you're going to have the compliance documentation to back up those claims. I think what's really going to change is what I talked about before, which is really looking at the entire life cycle of that product. So really looking at everything from the way a product is created, so the way the product's designed to minimize waste, the way the packaging is designed, again, is to maximize things like digital decorating, which are better for the environment than traditional inks and all the wastage that comes along with some of the decorating processes, is looking at, improved quality, right? So I think you talked about this as a movement, not a trend, is that, I've been here for a while, and I think the eco products used to be twice as expensive and half as good, and that's not the case anymore. Is that quality is improved, and that the expectation is that's going to be a really solid quality. So we want to make sure that we continue to increase the usable life of these products and focus on quality, and then ultimately deciding what happens to the product at the end of its life cycle. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest trends, is the idea of kind of the circularity aspect. You mentioned regenerative cotton. Is not only is it good enough to remove kind of virgin plastic from the supply chain, is what happens when a product does reach its end of its usable life, and making sure that you're taking that into consideration in your design and development of your products. I think that's going to be really important and a big trend going forward.
Yeah, yeah. And I should mention, just to plug ASI Media and Promo for the Planet, our feature story that's at the top of the page today is on the circular economy. So if you're curious to learn more about what that means and how some people in the promo industry are working towards more circularity, you should definitely go to ASI Media and look for the circular economy story.
That's great. And Teresa, I would just say too, if you advance to the next slide, I think it'll showcase some of the products that AJ talked about and the different materials as well. Maybe it's one pass, but yeah, we've got a couple of them in there. Yeah.
Okay, there's Terra Thread. I see Nimble. Yeah. How do you say that? Slip pint? Slip in?
Silly pint? Yeah, silly paint, again, product made of silicone. So silicone has a better and often outperforms things like glass and ceramic and plastics. So again, a more kind of naturally eco-friendly material.
And what is it, Baron Fig?
Yeah, so Baron Fig is a great brand. So we talk about, again, the brands that we want to partner with, is that talk about the trends in the industry, is that, Baron Fig is a fine writing company that really appeals to a new customer. So more of a creative customer, younger generation. And it's actually a company that we talk about, again, those ones that share our values, maybe beyond just product made of recycled materials, is that they're made in the USA and they're employee owned. So again, is really being focused on people and their employees. It's a really great company. I mean, the product's amazing. I have one here at my desk I use constantly. I'm trying to make sure no one steals. But again, it's looking for those companies that are a little bit different. So when you're looking for an option that's not just made of recycled materials, but you're looking for a story beyond that, product's amazing. But again, made in the USA, employee owned, is something that goes a little bit beyond just the product itself.
Right.
With Rain to Rain, another great made in the USA company that products found at all the outdoor stores like REI and things like that. It's actually paper that is waterproof. So once you can use any writing instrument in there. And if you're outside hiking, again, as we focus on wellness and focus on ourselves, we're finding, we find inspiration kind of anywhere, and you want to take that with you and jot something down, is that you don't have to be worried, being caught in a rainstorm or leaving in your pocket and going through a washer. So again, really cool brand.
What is that called again? I didn't catch it.
Right in the Rain.
Right in the Rain. Okay. Yep. Nice. But I think you did bring up a really good point. A lot of times when people talk about sustainability, they definitely focus on the planet part, but they don't always.
Oh no, did we lose Teresa?
I think we did. I think she's talking about the focus on the people, perhaps, with these brands. Yeah, I agree. And I think that's why, is when you look at like a certified B Corp, is that's why we choose to partner with a lot of those types of brands, like certified B Corps, is that, it's really built in their ethos to focus on people. So, and that people is not only their own employees, which for anybody that is familiar with the certified B Corp process, there's a lot of focus on how you treat your own employees as well as where you're manufacturing the product. So often we focus on just where the product ultimately is being manufactured, but sometimes ignore your own employees at your own headquarters, your plants, and making sure that we're focused on, on people across the board.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, we apologize. We'll have Teresa back shortly. I noticed that she tried to get back in here. Sometimes, as I mentioned, technology can let us down here, but we'll have Teresa back shortly to continue this conversation. Hopefully, we'll have her back. But if you guys want to continue to talk on this topic, feel free to do so. Talk amongst yourselves, about the new brands. And we'll try to get Teresa back as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, maybe I'll just talk a little bit about what's next for ProudPath, because ironically, this is actually the celebratory week of the 1-year launch of ProudPath. And so, really, as we think about what our distributors and end clients are looking for and moving forward too, it's all around environmentally friendly products and solutions. And so, we're focused on making it easier and more accessible to educate by offering refreshed sales collateral, a new landing page, and actually a new ProudPath Pro Tip video series, plus more throughout the course of this year. So this is all about making our distributor partners successful, and we're going to continue to support them, in that environment going forward. It's a key decision in everything that we do and everything that we make, and we would invite everybody to take part in this journey, because I think together with forward-thinking brands and eco-friendly products, sustainable solutions, collectively we're leading the way there.
Yeah, and then I'd say from the product side, I know that makes me really excited, because as somebody who has been working on researching trends, been in these factories, been trying to source this product for several years, is that education component can't be understated, is that, this is a very complicated area that is changing rapidly. So something that we thought may be sustainable or good for the environment, a year or two ago, we're finding through further research that it's not. And I think having a partner and a resource that you can go to and ask that question, no matter what it is or how simple you may think it is realize that a lot of other people are wondering the same thing. And ultimately, that education aspect and having a resource to go to be able to find those answers is going to be critical. Because again, this is going to be changing. And I think that's a great thing with this platform and what the industry is doing, is giving resources out there for everybody to make sure that they're making the right sourcing decisions, finding the right product, and ultimately able to back up those claims. Because this is going to change. What we're calling, again, ProudPath today is going to look a little bit different, for what we're going to be showing and launching next year. So want to make sure that we stay on top of it.
Yeah, completely agree. And actually, if we advance to the next slide, just while we're waiting for Teresa to rejoin, I think there's some additional products there that AJ, you might want to just talk about.
Yeah, sure. And a couple of really exciting ones. The first one there is Chico Bag. So for everybody that's been in this industry for a while, is that Chico Bag has been an ASI supplier for probably about the last 10 years or so. So they've been around for a while. They're certified B Corp, climate neutral, really awesome brand. You can find their bags being sold at places like Whole Foods and other more, better establishments like that. But what's really cool about their new material is that we just went live with them last week. Inventory is going to be arriving here in the next couple of weeks. And we're actually going to be launching the first solution dyed fabric in a reusable grocery bag. So what's really interesting when we talk about, again, the evolution of these recycled materials, these better materials, is that solution dyeing is going to be a much cleaner process than typical dyeing processes, rather than using liquid dye on the fabric once it's been actually created. It's actually weaving those kind of plastic particles within the fiber itself, to make sure that it's using a lot less water in that dyeing process. I believe it's about 90% less water in the dyeing process than traditional methods. So again, a certified B Corp, climate neutral, as well as better materials. And again, trying to constantly evolve what that looks like. And a great option under $10. So again, is looking at better quality, better brands at really great price points. And then, something like Karst, we talked about, kind of stationary writing never going away. Stone, Karst is actually a brand that makes their paper out of stone paper. So again, something that's more durable, better for the planet, looking at better alternatives. And then a couple others I can point out. Moop as well is a great brand partner of ours with Made in the USA, kind of tote brand, is woman-owned business based out of Seattle. And she is manufacturing all of those, the bags that we have in our collection right out of her facility out there on the West Coast.
So we're still trying to get Teresa back in. Like I said, I mentioned earlier before we went online that, this does happen from time to time. It's not something like this. I've experienced somebody drop off of one of my live streams, but was back in about 30 seconds. But Teresa's still struggling to get back online. Now, on LinkedIn, we do have a comment / question from Tony. He says, is there any advice for an 8-year promotional products industry career new man? And he has new man in quotes. He's based in China. You guys have any advice?
Yeah, I think certainly there's some materials and other things that are accessible on our Proud Path landing page that would probably, really help him as he thinks about, how to position and some selling tools specifically around all of this. We've also got a ton of product data as well as our partnerships that were mentioned earlier in this broadcast that are all housed there.
And I'm excited. We're partnering with the marketing team to create a glossary of terms too, something really basic, just to say, hey, what's got certified? What is GRS? We throw around these acronyms a lot of times with, because we're so used to it, but we take it for granted that not everyone really knows that and understands that. So yeah, just educating yourself on the basics, and it'll be a great resource on our webpage, on our website for that as well.
Excellent. So Teresa's still trying to get on. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe she's having some connectivity issues wherever she's based. I forget. She's somewhere in Pennsylvania. But in case she doesn't get back on, are there some topics that the two of you want to continue to discuss here? We could do that now.
I think we talked a lot about, kind of where we're headed in terms of the direction for, Proud Path, our sustainability initiatives, everything around these new products. So it's something that, we continue to focus on as an organization and support our clients. We work with them on, program business as well, where this is a big focus in the distributor, segments across all verticals today. So it's something that we're really excited about, partnering and continuing to grow in. AJ, I don't know if there's anything else, from a materials and supply chain perspective that we haven't touched on.
I don't think so. I mean, I'd say just anybody that's out there with especially distributors that have their end users that have these requirements or interested in this, is continue to share that with us as well. Is that changes frequently, and I said our industry is interesting. I work with a lot of retail partners, and our industry is actually at the forefront of a lot of this. Is that those end users and those brands specifically that have these requirements are often far ahead of retail. So you can't assume that just because it's sold in a retail store, it's available to consumers, that it's going to be better for you or your needs. Is that make sure that you talk to your end users and you share that with us if they do have new requirements, and again, anything else that they're asking for that you may not see in the industry just yet, because again, is that our industry is often leading a lot of the kind of the pushes for the better materials, the better testing, the compliance requirements, all of that kind of fun stuff. So continue to share with us.
I think that's a great point. And I think, along with that are just validation from third parties as well. And so that's something that we're very focused on, is making sure that we can, kind of walk the talk. And we've got some really incredible third party validations, including, sort of hot off the press, a new EcoVadis silver rating for our organization. So that's something that we're really proud of. And that's part of our Proud Path as well.
Excellent. So again, I apologize for our tech issues. Our facilitator here, Teresa, is still trying to get on. As you noticed, I keep trying to pull up her live stream, but it's blank. So I'm assuming that she's having connectivity issues. So I'm assuming that Teresa's probably not going to make it back today. So do you have any final thoughts? And I'm going to start with you on this one, AJ.
No, I mean, I think we covered a lot of it. Is that I know that I'm excited for this journey. I'm very excited that a company like ours was able to to fully commit to this, because it takes a lot of time and money and investment and really changing everything that we're doing. So again, the way we bring in product, the way we decorate product, the way we design product, the way the sales team sells product. I mean, this was not a small commitment. And I know from my side, from the product side, is I really appreciate a company that's really getting behind this, and an industry that's really supportive of it, and doing everything that someone like you are in order to kind of share this with everybody and educate everybody, so that we're all better prepared to tackle this going forward, because it's not going away. So this is not something that is a flash in the pan that's going to go away overnight. Is that we're in this for the long haul, and the more we work on it together, the better educated and the better suited we will be to tackle the problems in the future.
Yeah, I like AJ. I've been in this industry for 15 years. I've been following closely. I work intimately with the information part of this business, the news and information, and I've seen sustainability come. Like this was 2009, 2010. There was a lot of discussion about sustainability, and it sort of waned a bit. But now, in the last 5+ years, I've noticed a real commitment to sustainability. And like the two of you had mentioned earlier, including Teresa, I don't think it's going away. I think there's clearly a shift for products to be more sustainably sourced, and the whole circle of life for the product. I think that's important to people nowadays. Where I mean, there's a new generation coming in, and I think that has a lot to do with it. Uh, and I think that the younger generation seem to be really more intimate with the life cycle of products. So I do agree that sustainability is here to stay. I'm a social media guy, and I do a lot of live streams about social media. So I've been preaching like social media is here to stay, and I see the sustainability aspect of this industry as well. So Holly, do you have any final thoughts as well?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Look, we're really happy to be part of this today. So thank you very much for having us both here. Sorry that Teresa's not able to get reconnected, but I'm sure we will have the opportunity to catch up when she does. I think, for us, as AJ said, and he said it very well, just this has now become part of the DNA of our organization. And so it is something that, we've invested in. We have resources that are dedicated solely to these efforts going forward in terms of CSR and what we're doing. And we've made a lot of investments in terms of, equipment and other things to make sure that we are even producing sustainably, everything from, the inks that we use in our factories to the way that we do our packaging now. So it's a big deal for us. And I would just say that, our customers, our distributors continue to make us better. They feed us input in terms of what they're hearing out there, what the requirements are from their end users. And I would just, ask, keep it coming. We need that feedback, to continue to shape what this looks like, to make us better and to make us, have the right inputs to then give the outputs that are going to, catapult growth across this industry. So we're all in on it. And we're certainly very focused on our distributors' growth as it relates to this topic for them.
That's great to see. So before I go, I want to make sure that you guys have an opportunity to allow listeners to get your contact information. How can they contact you if they want to, AJ?
Yeah, I'd say, contact through your sales reps, anybody else that you are currently talking to, and can always reach out to our customer service line. We have a great team, CSR team, that is fielding questions on a regular basis throughout the day and can get those questions to whoever you need to. Because again, these are complicated questions. So if it's compliance related, if it's ESG related, if it's product related, I would say reach out to our awesome customer service team, and they can point you in the right direction to get you the right answer quickly. And I think that's the most important thing, is getting that feedback immediately and quickly, because I know we're always in time crunch, and customers are always wanting something yesterday. So our customer service team can definitely help with that.
Excellent. Holly?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. And actually, if you advance to the last slide, it's got the link for, our Proud Path, landing page there. So there's a lot of tools and other resources and everything that I think would be super helpful for everyone on the call today. But if they want to reach out and talk to us, I would say go through your sales rep and your customer service. And certainly we will be very responsive in terms of, getting anything that's not on the landing page that they're looking for.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you for your time today. Again, I apologize. Teresa dropped off technology on the best of her today. I'm glad I combed my hair so that I was able to jump in here and finish it. But yeah, thank you so much for your time. And we'll be in touch with the archivist. But thank you everybody for listening. For AJ, for Holly, I'm Vinny, and we'll see you next time on Promo Insiders. Have a great day.
Thanks, Vinny. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate the opportunity. Bye-bye.